In this IGCC business video, we're going to cover recruitment and selecting employees. So that's going to cover recruitment and selection methods, the difference between internal recruitment and external recruitment, the main stages in the recruitment and selection process of employees, recommending and justifying who to employ in a given circumstance, and the benefits of limitations of part-time employees and full-time employees. Now, recruitment and selection. So when an employee leaves or if the company expands their process, then recruitment is going to start. So recruitment is the process that's identifying that the business needs to employ someone up to the point at which then applications will start arriving at the business. In a large business, this process of recruitment is going to be done by the human resource department. Now, what's the recruitment process? The first process is a vacancy is going to arise. Then the business is going to make a job analysis, then a job description, a job specification. The job will then be advertised to the appropriate media. Application forms and shortlistings will happen. Then the business will carry out interviews and selection, and then the vacancy will be filled. Now let's go through each of these processes. So the first one is a job analysis and a job description. Now, the first stage of the recruitment process is to carry out a job analysis. A job analysis is going to identify and record the responsibilities and tasks that are related to the job. Then a job description will be made, which is going to outline the responsibilities and the duties that will be carried out by someone employed to do a specific job. A job description is given to the candidates so they know what the job is going to entail. And the job description will cover pay, hours of work, their training, and any sort of promotion information. Now, once the candidate has been hired, the job description will also be used to check if they are doing what they've been asked to do, and the employer and the employee can refer back to it. Now, job specification. Once the job description has been made, it is important for the business to outline the qualifications and the qualities necessary to do the job. It will have a list of essential and desirable requirements. This will include the level of education, the amount of experience, the type of experience, the personal characteristics, and any special skills that the candidate needs. Internal recruitment. Internal recruitment is when a vacancy is filled by someone who is an existing employee of the business. This is going to be suitable for an employee who seeks promotion within the business. Now, what's the advantages of internal recruitment? It makes other employees work harder as they see that their colleague is getting promotion. It saves the business time and money. The person already knows how the organization works, and the person is already reliable to the business. But what's the disadvantages of internal recruitment? There will be no new idea that's going to be coming into the business, as internal recruitment does not allow for work practices to be spread, and there may be jealousy among other employees. Now, what's the types of external recruitment? There's going to be local newspapers, so this will usually be for offices or manual positions. There will be national newspapers. This can be for more senior positions. There will be specialist magazines or journals, so this will be for technical jobs. It can be also be done through recruitment agencies. So these are specialist recruitment employees. They will hire employees on behalf of the organization. And job centers. They will also have vacancies for unskilled or semi-skilled jobs. Job advertisement. Now the next step is to draw up a job advertisement. The business will need to decide what has to be included in the job advert, where the job advert is going to be placed, and how much it's going to cost. The job advertisement will include information about what the job is and how the employee can apply to it. Application forms and CVs. So an application form will require a candidate to apply in writing. This can be done either through filling an application form, writing a letter of application, and enclosing a CV. Now, a CV is going to be a summary of an individual's skills, their qualifications, and previous work history. An organization is going to look at a candidate's application to see if they're going to match the job specification and if they do match, they'll be invited for an interview. Now, what should a CV contain? It should contain the name, contact number, the address, the nationality, the education and qualifications, the work experience, the interests, and any references of the candidate. Now, what should the letter of application contain? It should contain why the applicant wants a job and why the applicant feels like they're suitable for the job that they are applying for. Interviews. Now, those applicants that are shortlisted, they will then be invited for an interview and they'll be asked to provide any references. A referee will be a person that will be asked to give their opinion on the applicant's character and the suitability for the job. That might be a previous employer, a friend or family, or a previous lecturer or teacher. Now, interviews are the most widely used form for selecting an employee. However, they are not always reliable. Now, what's the purpose of an interview? So, a purpose of an interview is to assess the character and the personality of the applicant. It can assess the personal qualities that may be an advantage or a disadvantage to the applicant, and to assess the applicant's ability to do the job. What's the type of test that are included in the selection process? So you can have a skills test. That's going to show the ability of a candidate being able to carry out tasks. There can be an aptitude test that shows the candidate's potential to gain any additional skills. A personality test. So this is used if there's a particular job where there needs to be a particular type of person. And also a group situation test, which is a task will be given to an applicant in a group to solve, and then the group is observed. The contract of employment. Now, it is a legal requirement for an employer to provide an employee with a contract of employment to sign, and it will state the terms of the relationship between the employer and the employee. It will include the name of the employer and the employee, the job title they're going to have, their start date, their hours, their pay, their benefits, when their payment will be made, their holidays, and also their notice period. Part-time and full-time contracts. So a part-time worker is someone who will work less hours than a full-time worker. And a full-time worker is someone who will usually work 35 hours per week or more. What's the advantages of having a part-time worker? There will be more flexibility in their working hours. It will be less expensive than having a full-time employee. Employees can work at busy times. It's easier to extend their business working hours. And it can fit in with the employee's priorities such as childcare or education. But what's the disadvantages of having a part-time worker? It's more difficult to communicate with a part-time worker. They're less likely to be trained. They can be less committed to the business. They're less likely to be promoted. And it takes longer to recruit 2 part-time workers rather than a business just employing 1 full-time worker. Now let's go through an exam question. So explain 4 requirements for the new manager that Gemma should include in the specification below. So the job specification for the shop manager. The job title is a shop manager. The location is new shop. And details of the shop is manage the shop and the employees. So what are 4 requirements that Gemma must have to include in the job specification below? Now this question is 8 marks. Pause this video now and give this question a go. Okay, now let's go through some possible answers that can be given. So the exam question again is explain 4 requirements to the new manager that Gemma should include in the job specification below. And you have to give 4 possible requirements. So remember, you're going to get 1 mark for the knowledge of the requirement and then 1 mark for the explanation and relating it back to the case study. Now here are possible requirements you can write down as answers that should be included on the job specification. So the first one is experience of selling jewelry. the qualifications of product and knowledge, any skills that they should have, any training, their physical fitness, and their personal characteristics. So remember, you get only 1 mark if you write down the requirement, but you get another second mark if you explain the requirement and relate it back to the case study. That will give you full 8 marks for this question if you do that for all 4 requirements. Good luck. Subscribe to this channel for more videos and follow the social media.